Peace and love, family. Peace and love. I'll bring you to another episode of Build or Destroy. I am your host, Born Allah L, and this is where we break away the rumors from the real, the facts from the fiction, the what is from the what it ain't. Because you know if you let a lie live long enough, it becomes the truth. So before we get into subject matter, like, share, and subscribe. We also take donations. Please feel free to oblige. Check out our Cash App. Keep the engine running with fuel. So please be obliged to donate. But to like, share, and subscribe, obviously is free. Please be obliged to donate, but to like, share, and subscribe is obviously free. So I hope I'm reaching y'all in good wealth, health, and prosperity. There's been a lot going on, so once again I'm here to sharpen your third eye and bring you that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that you need to propel yourself through these wicked times in this devil civilization known as North America, particularly, but at large the planet Earth. So once again, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, because what we do here is instrumental and astronomical. We deal with here sun, moon, stars, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, man, woman, child. So that's sun, moon, stars, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, man, woman, child, sun, moon, stars. Let's build. Have y'all been paying attention? Have y'all been paying attention? Salute to those that have. Step your game up to those that haven't. Understanding is the height of perception. Understanding is to see things as they are and not how they present themselves to be. That means definitely don't judge a book by its cover. And after you read the first chapter, that's not the whole book. So you need to complete the whole book to know what's really going on. So not only that you understand, you can overstand the psychology of ignorance just being the lack of knowledge. Do you like when someone calls you ignorant? Don't you feel you should be doing something about that personally in your life? Nah, don't fight the person. First of all, acknowledge the fact that in certain areas you have a lack of knowledge. Acknowledge your lack of knowledge. Is that okay to do? Can you do that? Can you be accountable for what you do know as well as what you don't know? Are you willing to accept the accountability? You should. You should. Who can be responsible for you but you? Everything that happens to you in your life ain't somebody else's fault. 90% of the issues that you experience within your own life are the issues you created for self. These are self-inflicted injuries to yourself. But we love to justify and find ways around accountability. Look in the mirror, man. Look in the mirror. Do I need to hold it closer to you? Look in the mirror. Brother, look in the mirror, sister. This is all about us. Yeah, people, there is resistance, but the biggest resistance is fighting the negative energy against the positive energy which dwells within self. The answer to your problems are not outward, they're inward. The answer to your issues are not outward, they're inward. Once you start to analyze and realize these things. On this particular episode, I want to touch on a cultural topic. And that cultural topic is the hip-hop genre in the music industry. The hip-hop culture in the daily lives that we live each and every day. How every time I turn the TV on, y'all can't sell a box of Tide laundry detergent without hip-hop behind it. What happened to the days where people made jingles for these items? Not necessary now, when someone's catalog is open, and that will bring the masses to this product using our culture. Now, I'm not saying don't get money off of your endeavors. I'm saying pay attention to how they're using us again to propel themselves and leave us behind. But this particular episode, we're going to talk about how hip-hop saved us twice. Twice, not once, twice. What you mean, God? Well, let me break it down and expound. Hip-hop was a sub-musical genre, spiraling away from R&B and soul, produced hip-hop. The main catalyst of the sound for hip-hop was break beats in the middle of popular music. They would find the part in the music which they could use for their own expression. Forget what the song is about. We're going to use this part of the music for our own expression. That stemmed from the lack of having. The have-nots. We don't have a band. Hell, some of us don't even have electricity and food to eat. But still, we're going to use this break part in this popular song to express how we feel, who we are, and what's going on around here in our culture. Also piggyback that off the fact that there were very few avenues to success getting out of the ghetto. First of all, in the early 70s, after the Vietnam War, black men and their families became more disenfranchised than ever. Black families around that time became more disenfranchised than ever. Caveat clue, good times. James Evans was the father on the show. He had 3 children, Thelma, JJ, Michael, and a wife who was a housewife and a mother to all three. So we looking at the foundation of the family structure in our neighborhoods and in our culture, not doing so good economically though. But the love and the family structure is there. In comes social programs such as welfare, food stamps, public assistance. This gave the black woman a way to see herself empowering herself through the access of the government, being the fact that her husband ain't bringing in no bread. She'd rather report that she has no husband than have him there not making no resources for the family, and there's no hope in sight. Every job he go to, he's unqualified or too old, or this racism wouldn't allow. So we determined now, hindsight is 2020, that was systematic racism. And it was designed to systematically destroy the black families. Men felt disrespected, while their women looked towards the Caucasian and to the system to take care of the families that those men were supposed to be able to handle and take care of. So that's building a major disrespect within the family unit when Pops standing there like a man with his pockets is dry and empty and can't do nothing for the family. Most men couldn't take it no more and just jet it, which is a sucker's move. Some sucker shit. But it is what it is. Thank God my offspring never had to experience me in that moment of weakness abandon them. Inshallah. Inshallah to the Most High. Therefore, the black man's respect within that structure had diminished dramatically. So, there was either college, which most black men couldn't afford or didn't have the ambition or drive or the intellect to think that that was viable to them. Other men were able to procure good jobs at factories such as General Motors, DuPont, or wherever in the Midwest and the South to procure their families. But once again, everyone was not able to step into the employment field in that successful manner. 3, sports. Some were actors and comedians, but even that subculture in the film industry of the black exploitation gave us work but not respect. Gave us work but not respect. Then along came hip-hop. The documented date for hip-hop is 1973, starting in the Bronx, New York, which is a whole nother story debatable based on who started it, who they were, what ethnicity they were, and the whole 9 yards. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're going to talk about how the glorious genre of hip-hop saved us twice. So let's go back to that time period in the 70s. I may need to show y'all pictures of the Bronx in the 70s in New York to give y'all a clear indication of where New York was at that time. Wasn't all glitz and glamour, baby. New York was going through an economic crisis. Coming out of the Vietnam War with our mayor at the current time was Mayor Beam. He had no real solutions for economic empowerment for New York. The only other viable access to resources might have been selling drugs in the neighborhoods. And at that time, the drug of choice was heroin. So using a drug like that, you're not getting up off the ground. You laying down on the ground. But once again, along came hip-hop to uplift the downtrodden and give them a voice. The first thing you need is a voice to make a change. Without that microphone, people don't know what's going on in your neighborhood. Because remember, you the disenfranchised. They don't even care about what's going on there unless you let them know what's going on. They have no clue. Nor do they care to investigate that situation. They got food on their table. Their kids is good headed to college. They don't care about you. Hip-hop gave us that voice. Now, back in the days, hip-hop, when it first started, probably wasn't as politically charged as it became. It was just hip-hop, you don't stop to the bebop, party rock. It was just basically that. But it was empowering you to express yourself amongst your peers. If no one else understood, at least your peers did. Then the music became broken glass everywhere. People pissing in the stairs and they just don't care. Now we're getting a little political. What? Broken glass everywhere? What neighborhood is this? So you starting to get a visual picture of what this guy's talking about, how he exists in life right now. It's not pretty. And it has a beat behind it. So we listening like this. Wow. That shit is going on in my neighborhood too. So we start to form that connection like we all can understand what this person is saying because we all going through it. Now we forming the glue of togetherness through the music. Not even knowing. Not even knowing. So therefore, a lot of us gravitated to that. Meanwhile, everyone couldn't do the same thing. Some of us gravitated to the drug game. Even back then. Even back then. Because we need expression and resources. And the drug game gave us both. At that moment, hip-hop only gave us one: expression. So while others transitioned into street hustling, some stayed firm in procuring the music genre of hip-hop. And that saved us. We were able to create a dichotomy. You could be this or that. You don't have to be one thing. You're not a slave, and your intellectual prowess can make something out of nothing. Remember how hip-hop started out of having nothing. Banging on the table, boom, boom, bap, boom, 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 bap. Or stealing electricity from the street. whatever the case may be. Doing something from nothing. So that divided the neighborhood from hustlers and creators, builders, from just plain resource getters. And we were able to show the world what we're going through. So that was the first time hip-hop saved us from doom and peril. Because everyone kind of started to find their own way. It wasn't every black man going to be standing on the welfare line. It wasn't going to be every black man laying down with a needle in their arm. It wasn't going to be that. It wasn't going to be that. Based on the introduction to this music. And it was a learning and teaching tool for the youth that were growing up in that environment, and also those who had no knowledge of what goes on in that environment. That was the first time. So while others continue to do whatever their lifestyle required or allowed or permitted them to do, there was some that just gravitated to this craft, to this genre, to this so-called subculture of hip-hop. Meanwhile, the drug dealers was doing their thing. Me, myself, I grew up a b-boy, straight out of Harlem. I did graffiti, breakdance, DJ, MC, and stay fresh. Those are all the 5 elements of hip-hop. I embodied those as I grew up. I stayed up late at night listening to Mr. Magic. Even if I had to go to a friend's house. Word is born. Keith, Rick, and Tiba. I used to go to Keith, Rick, and Tiba's house. Rick is their older brother. And he was older than us. And he would have us over sometime listening to Mr. Magic. Eating Chinese food after 12, man. This is what you had to do to listen to hip-hop back in those days. Now, what year I'm talking about? I'm talking about maybe 82, 81, 82. During that time, don't you know the drug industry is booming in the neighborhood? I have no knowledge of that. I'm not privy to that. I just know I'm listening to Mr. Magic. If they selling drugs outside, that's what they doing. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's not a part of my life. Even though, now this part of my life now, I'm in Queens. From Manhattan. So I'm leaving the culture where it was really strong, and I'm coming to it where it's burgeoning. Once again, 77, 78. So I'm embodying all of the 5 elements. Hip-hop starting to skyrocket. Here comes Run DMC, commercializing it in a way where now we can see some money. Then the Fat Boys. Now we going global, the influence. Meanwhile, the drug dealers in the streets and people that work 9 to 5s is still going down. Everybody's machines is running. Drug dealers are hiring the rappers now to do shows and rubbing elbows with them. And pushing big cars like them. Record industries start to see this is a thing, man. We thought this was just something in the park or in somebody's backyard. This is a thing. We're going to have to put investments out here to procure it so we can get some money off of it. Huh? Y'all going to start investing in it? Prior to that, people was talking about, this is some boogity woogity squiggity music, man. We don't want nothing to do with that. This is trash. This is trash. Then you start to see cereal commercial with Fred and Barney from the Flintstones. They got on fat ropes with mics in their hands, and Barney scratching on the turntables talking about Flintstone cereal. What? Multi-million-dollar industry. Multi-million-dollar industry now. So the first time it saved us, it gave us direction. And some of us chose that direction, while others didn't see the vision or didn't. No one is a fortune teller, but didn't see it at the moment. Let's fast forward to the 90s. Hip-hop becomes a multi-billion-dollar industry, where to shoot a video costs you $1 million, where people is going platinum in 1 week, 2 weeks of releasing their album. This shit is major. You got A&Rs riding around in limousines all day drinking champagne. They supposed to ride around and find out the new talent in the hood. This is what these big budgets was cut for. This industry was off the chain. Meanwhile, back in the hood, TNT, law enforcement, FBI, the Alphabet Boys, the DEA, they tightening up. Remember, the drug dealers was the preeminent resource gatherers before. The preeminent resource gatherers. The beacon of hope for those in the neighborhood, as well as success right in front of your face. You're looking at success right in front. You come out your building, your house, whatever, you see the success they're procuring, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And I'm not here to judge. I had to go through those same channels of survival. So I'm not here to judge or tell you what's right or wrong. I'm just speaking on the facts and the fact of the matter. Because what we do here, man, we steal, sharpen, steal. This build or destroy, man. So once again, during that time, TNT started riding down on cats, jumping out the jump out boys and everything. This happened after the fact that in Queens, the borough I was living in at the time, particularly in the town I'm living in at the time, Jamaica, South Side, Jamaica, Queens, South Side, we outside, salute. They kill not only a parole officer, they kill a cop, a rookie cop, while watching a witness's house. Cold-blooded murder, assassination. So from that point, law enforcement started crashing out. The stuff they was letting people get away with before ain't gonna happen now. They start crashing out. They started crashing out, man. Running down on everything based on Edward Byrne being killed and Pappy Mason and Fat Cat Nichols being implicated in that assassination. They both were from Jamaica, Queens, making that bread. So that immediately put pressure on the whole situation. Not just in New York, not just in Queens, not just in South Jamaica, worldwide. Nationwide, should I say. This campaign, this war against drugs, just say no to drugs and all of that. even though that campaign came out then, the money in that industry, the drug industry for streets, started dipping and declining. Couple that with snitching. Couple that with murders. That lucrative lifestyle didn't seem as glorious based on the fact that the negatives started outweighing the positives for the street entrepreneur. Remember, we already discussed how it saved us the first time, hip-hop. Now we into the second time where it saved us. Most of the top drug kingpins started looking at this, saying, what's the end game and the bottom line here? Checks and balances, pros and cons, negatives and pluses. I'm losing money. I only see two places I'm going to end up with this: dead or in jail. How do I pivot and transition into procure what I've learned in business, how I understand the street culture, and let me move on into an industry where I can just go in and continue to be successful and flourish? TNT running down, bail money's high. Some of my boys is getting smoked out here in the corner. It's not good, man. What am I doing? I'm getting older now. This ain't it. They transition into the music game. I'm not going to say no names. I'm not into having people investigating and RICOs happening. But most of the big kingpins signed artists and started labels. So that's the second time hip-hop saved us. They started major labels and procured their business acumen in the fashion of what they already learned without college education. They was coming from the school of hard knocks with this. Coming from the school of hard knocks. Do you know how that saved us? And gave us the creative juices to pivot? So now we look at hip-hop in its total form, where it was then in its birth, to its burgeoning years, to its pinnacle, to where we at right now. So now, this is the ironic part of it. Hip-hop saved us twice. Now we have to save hip-hop. Peace and love. Once again, I am your host, Born Law L. Like, share, subscribe. Peace and love. Save hip-hop. Save the children.
I'm with my Bombay. He smoking Bombay. Eyes low like a zombie. Beating my chest, Harambe. Kata mate. Kicking it like karate. Whoa. Chemo Sabe. I pitch and hit Otane. I am from Queens. Just like Shantae. Yeah. Rest in peace, my nigga K-Slay. Your girl came to play. Legs on my shoulders, strong J. You heard what I said? Nigga, you heard what I say. Put you somewhere. Your flesh will decay. Put you somewhere. Your flesh will decay. Let's do it again. Sidney Poitier. Let's do it again. Sidney Poitier.
Hey,
Let's do it again.
let's do it.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. I can bless you and curse you.
Curse you,
I'm puffin' purple.
purple,
There's no squares in my circle.
circle,
Man, we will nerf you
nerf you.
right after we murk you. We don't wanna hurt you.
Nah,
Get out of here. Don't you have curfew? Eat at our table. You don't deserve to. That's when we curved you. Right after we swerved through. Fucking with us. You got the nerve to. Fucking with us. You got the nerve to. Let's do it again. 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 Let's do it. 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 Let's do it.